Hey everyone, Mr. B coming at you with the Origins of Judaism quiz study guide review. So we're going to fill out the Origins of Judaism study guide, give you all the correct answers and everything you need to know so that you can prepare yourself for the upcoming Origins of Judaism quiz. And plus, you get a little extra credit. It never hurts. So let's get right to it. As with all things study guides and reviews, we are going to start at the Social Studies message board. So we're at the message board and we are going to go to study guides. When we get to study guides, we're going to go to Mesopotamia, Unit 4, and then go to the Origins of Judaism quiz study guide right here. You can see I already have the Mesopotamia unit test study guide up. So if you want to kind of get a head start and check out what you're going to be doing and start working on that study guide, feel free. But for today, we need the Origins of Judaism quiz study guide. So we've got that. And of course, this is my copy of the study guide. You will not be able to write in this. You'll not be able to type in this, save it. You need to make a copy of this study guide for yourself. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to File, and then if you'd like a Google Docs version of the study guide, File, make a copy. When you do that, you can open it up. You can name it whatever you want. Maybe put your name in there, whatever, and then hit OK. When you hit OK, it'll open the study guide in a brand new window, and that will be your copy. So this is, again, if you have Gmail and you want a Google Docs version, File, make a copy, rename it, hit OK. If you prefer a Microsoft Word or maybe a PDF, you can go to File, Download, then Microsoft Word or PDF. And yeah, Microsoft Word is probably the preferred one. So again, File, Download Microsoft Word, and then you will get a Microsoft Word version of the study guide. So pick whichever one you want. And I'll give you everybody a second. You can pause the video right now to get your study guide ready, and then we will jump into the questions. So question number 1 is, what allowed the Phoenicians to become such skilled traders and sailors? I know I mixed those up, but it's all right. What allowed the Phoenicians to become such skilled sailors and traders? Well, the Phoenicians lived along the coast. They lived along the coast of Africa, and they became skilled sailors and traders just because of where they lived, right? Because if you live along the water, you're probably going to, learn how to sail, and you're going to learn how to navigate the water, right? Because it's just where you live. So they live right along the coast. They live right along the water, right along the ocean. So they became, just good sailors just by the proximity. And then if you're going to sail, right, you're not just going to sail to nowhere. So what they would do is they would get in their ships and they'd go sailing somewhere far away, and they'd find another new civilization. They'd find a new city-state, and then they would trade with those people. So they became really good traders alongside, really skilled sailors, because these were two skills that they used a lot. So yeah, the Phoenicians, just by their proximity, they became good skilled sailors and traders because they're right there along the coast. They had access to the water, and then they, from there, once you're on the water, you could get all around to different civilizations such as Greece and into Mesopotamia and things like that. So, question number 2, describe the political structure that led Darius to govern the vast Persian Empire. So what you got to think is, imagine, you are an ancient king and you have this huge empire that stretches, 1,000 miles. It stretches from Africa into India or something. It's a big, vast empire. How do you control that? How do you manage it? How do you make sure that the people are doing what you want them to do, and that they're, following your rules and they're contributing like you want them to? Because you have no internet, you have no videos, and you have no, you know, phones or anything like that. You really can't communicate. So what you got to do is you got to put somebody in charge who you trust. And that's what Darius did, right? So what he did was he broke his empire up into smaller pieces, territories called provinces, and then he put somebody in charge of each province who he trusted. So it's kind of like the United States, right? We have this big country, and our country's broken up into smaller states, and each state is led by a governor. That's kind of what Darius did, right? He broke his empire up into provinces, and he put somebody he trusted in charge of each province, and then those people he trusted answered to him. So they were responsible to Darius. So then if Darius thought that, they weren't doing what he wanted, he would remove them, put somebody else in power who he trusted. So yeah, Darius divided his empire into provinces, and he appointed a leader. And that's how you govern a vast area in ancient times, right? So question number 3 is, what is an empire? So an empire is a sovereign state ruling over several territories whose people are subject to a ruling authority. Basically, it's where one group of people from one state or one country or city-state goes and conquers another people and then kind of occupies their territory, and now they're in charge. And they're in charge of people who don't necessarily want those other people in charge of them, right? So it's where one people are ruling over another people against their will, right? Question number 4, what are the 10 Commandments and what impact do they have on our modern society? So the 10 Commandments are a central tenet of Judaism and Christianity and Islam eventually. And the 10 Commandments are basically a set of religious principles that govern the Abrahamic religions. Again, the Abrahamic religions being Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So for our purposes right now, we're just looking at the Israelites, we're just looking at Judaism, and the 10 Commandments were just their set of 10 religious principles, 10 rules, kind of, or 10 laws from God that they had to follow. And how they influence our modern society? Well, they've influenced a lot of our political and legal system. Things like, thou shalt not kill. Obviously, these things have influence in our laws and our legal system today. Question number 5. In Sumerian society, who were believed to be the only people who could communicate with the gods? So in ancient society, religion was very important, right? They believed that everything happened by the will of the gods. So if you had a flood, it must mean the gods are mad. If you had a drought, it must mean the gods are mad. If you had a good harvest and you had a lot of food, it must mean the gods are happy. So the ability to communicate with the gods was important because you wanted to make sure the gods were happy, right? So if you could communicate with them, you can make them happy, right? At least find out what they want. So that is why the priests played a very unique role in Sumerian society, because they were believed to be the only ones who could communicate with God, right? So if they're the only ones who could communicate with God and God rules everything, and then that's a very important position in Sumerian society. So yeah, priests had a unique and powerful position. Question number 6. What was the Israelites' escape from slavery in Egypt called? A lot of you probably have heard about this. This is one of the most famous stories in all of the world. It is a biblical story. It is part of the many religions. They've made movies about this and cartoons and everything, and that would be the Exodus, right? So the Exodus. So the Exodus is the story of the Israelites' escape from slavery in Egypt. Number 7, what about the Israelites was unique from other groups in Mesopotamia? That would be the Israelites were different from other civilizations because they practiced monotheism, or a belief that there was only one God. You got to remember, most of the religion at the time was polytheistic, right? They all believed in many gods, God of the wind and the sun and different things. And Judaism came around, and they were a monotheistic religion, and that was kind of a new idea. They weren't the first monotheistic religion, but it was still uncommon in Mesopotamia. It was still uncommon in ancient times. So yeah, that made them different from all the other civilizations that they really came in contact with. Number 8, what is the Torah and why is it important to Judaism? So the Torah is a holy book, it's the Jewish holy book, and it comprises the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible. And it is important because it tells the origin story of Judaism. That's what it does. So the Torah is just the history and the origin story of the Jewish people and the Israelites. And that is why it's important, because it tells their history. Number 9, what writing system used triangular shapes to stand for words, ideas, and sounds? Hopefully you remember this one. That would be cuneiform, right? So cuneiform is the ancient writing system first developed by the Sumerians, and that would just had triangles pointing different directions and of different sizes, and that represented words and ideas and sounds. So that would be cuneiform. And last but not least, question 10. Hammurabi's code established the rule of law. What was the idea behind the law? So the idea that all members of society, including the rich and powerful, must follow the law. So that was kind of the idea behind the law, that the law is for everybody. Everybody had to follow it. If you will remember, though, Hammurabi's law code was not applied equally, though, right? So Yes, everybody had to follow the law, but the law would punish people based on who the victim was and who was committing the crime, right? So a rich man, if he attacked somebody, he might get one punishment, and if he attacked a slave, he would get another punishment, right? Because a slave didn't have the same value as a person. So there was laws like that, right? So though the law applied to everybody, it wasn't, the punishments did not apply equally. So it was an interesting law code. And with that, that is the study guide. That is all 10 questions. So go ahead, fill out the study guide, study it up, study all 10 questions. If you do that, you will be in a good place to take the quiz next week. And then remember, please send me your study guides for extra credit. So if you don't know how to do that, if it's a Google Doc, just copy this URL right there, put it in a webmail, send it to me. If it's a Microsoft Word document, you're going to need to add it as a webmail attachment. If you don't know how to add it as a webmail attachment, I have a video guide for you. You'll go to the message board, you'll go to the little video section down here, and then you'll see there is a video called How to Add a Webmail Attachment right here. Just watch this video. It's only like 2.5 minutes long, 3 minutes long. It's really short, but it'll teach you how to add a webmail attachment. Then you can send me your PDF or your Microsoft Word copies of the study guide. So hope that helps, and good luck on the quiz, everybody. Bye now.